Hello everyone. Today's video is on another soft spot in my hobby desires, and that's O-scale trains. This is an old AHM, or I think the original manufacturer was Rivarossi, Indiana Harbor Belt 080 switcher, plastic kit. It was motorized. Well, you bought a motorizing kit for this. I found this on eBay, and somebody had done it up as New York Central, which I'm more of a Chesapeake and Ohio fan, but when I saw this thing and for the price, I thought, oh, I gotta have it. I think I paid like $100 for it or less, and that's basically what the kits are going for, and the motorizing kit is out of this world. But anyway, I think it was advertised as is. I talked a little bit about it, but the guy who had this put it up for sale. I was probably one of the first ones to see it, and I went ahead and jumped on it. I put several of the kits together and motorized them and stuff like that over the years, and have gotten rid of them or traded them or whatever. But this one I really liked a lot. I have to put a whistle or a few small parts on, which I have. He had them. But the nice thing about this kit is the original owner had put a huge can motor for this size of AHM kit. It was just a big old can in there. He took out most of the back plate and stuff, but to make this thing more powerful, it's a lot more heavy, I guess I should say, than the kit one, even with the weights added. But it does work, so that was a pleasant surprise. It was sold as is, didn't say if it worked or not. So quite happy about that. I've cleaned it up a bit on the inside, re-lubed it, checked the wiring. Everything seems to be okay. It runs pretty good. The tender is nicely done. It's a little extra weight in it. You put a real coal load in it, and I've got to put the connecting strap between the two back on it. But this engine was very nicely done, very nice price, and being a train nut, I couldn't resist it. Let me see if I can switch it around for you. A lot of nice detail on the back. A lot of overflow coal there on top of the tender. He put a figure in the cab. Weathered it pretty good. See if I can get this thing to zoom in and keep focus. There we go. So, being a train nut, the last trains I can remember from the steam era were a couple of switchers that were left in the yard in our town, but everything else had been switched over to diesel. And I never did get to see any of the big steam engines run. I did get to see a few small switchers run, and some of those little dockyard switchers, those little 040s with the tanks on them. They may have been the what they refer to as the flameless ones. I don't know if that's true, working in certain plant conditions maybe. But so I've just been a train nut, an airplane nut, and a tank nut, anything mechanical nut ever since I was about 5 years old. Had to have my first model at 5, had to have all kinds of stuff. Couldn't wait to be stopped by a train at an intersection so I could sit there and watch it all go by while my parents complained about having to sit there for 10 or 15 minutes. Loved it when they actually stopped or had to stop and I could see all the boxcars and everything on it. And I can remember some of the old wooden reefers still being towed around. I don't know if they were still hauling food or not, but they were still, some of them, being drug around. See if I can zoom back out again. Not too much destruction. And drag this up a little more. But anyway, this was just something I basically couldn't resist. It's going to take a little more work, but I'm going to leave it as is, New York Central. I've got to get the top of the coal bunker back down on the top lid of the tender itself, and then I've got a few small. I've got those pieces that I need to put back on, and I've got an old kit, the static kit that I've got all the parts to in case something is missing too badly. I can replace it. I can put the grab irons back on the back of the cab, and a few other pieces that I have, and the whistle, and maybe dress it up a bit. It is 2-rail, and I have ran it, so it does operate. Very happy with it. The guy did a pretty nice job on it, especially with the larger can motor. Now I've got one that I got off eBay with the original motor that was in the kit and all, and it runs, but it's nowhere near as beefy as this thing, and it will not haul as much as this thing will. This thing is just very, very, very nicely done. So glad I was able to run across it, and so glad I was able to be the first one to grab it, because I think it was well worth it. But like I said, another one of my guilty pleasures is trains. Not much on HO, unfortunately, but I do like N because you can put a whole world on a tabletop. So I do have stuff for that. And then O scale, got no place to run one, so I have some track, either 3-rail or 2-rail, in a 8-foot circle, and then I stretch it out with a couple pieces of 36-inch track in between them, so I can make it about 9 feet long, about 8 feet wide, and put it in the basement floor. Or if everybody's gone from the house and they're not going to be around for a while, I can just put it on the living room floor and run it for a few minutes, get my guilty pleasures, and put it back up. It's just a fascinating thing for me. Locomotives, trains, boxcars, cabooses. My favorite, or like I said, the favorite railroad I have is, or for me, is the C&O. I like the Alleghenies, but I like the F-19 Pacifics they had very much. The George Washington and the George Washington was their premier train between, I think, Cincinnati and New York. It ran to Washington, D.C., and then on it to New York City. So anyway, I just thought I would drag this out, give you a video on it. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you enjoyed what you saw, please give a like to it. Let eBay, or let YouTube know people are enjoying these. I'd appreciate it. Once again, thank you very much. You all have a good evening. Be safe. Bye.